Hello everyone! I am super duper duper excited to bring this first craft video of mine to you. Today I'll be using this air dry clay to make the pill bugs from Animal Jam. I'll be starting with the pink one and then we move on to the blue one. First, I'm going to make this sort of oval shape with a flat top. I'm adding some metal wire to make the antenna. This makes the making of the antenna a lot easier, and also the clay will have something to stick to. But you'll see that I take them out of the base layer because it's really difficult to actually get the clay onto the metal wire while they're in there because it just keeps twisting and it really wasn't ideal. I like to just put water directly onto my mat. I was too lazy to get a bowl, and I clean my work area after this anyway. So here we go, I'm shaping it into a little wormy dealy to roll it onto the metal wire. For these little nooks and crannies, I like to just get a brush with water on it to get in there for the places that I can't reach with my finger. And voila, now it's on there and it's much easier to shape it and blend it into the base. And here they're both done. Now onto the little legsies, which are so tiny, they were kind of difficult to actually get into the right shape, but I managed. And sometimes even a brush doesn't cut it, so I like to get this little spatula thing that I usually use to mix paint and stuff to make some sharper edges. One of the antenna fell out, and here you see me frustratingly trying to get it back on there, but it's just so wet at this point that it was really sticky, but I got it done. Now they both dry until they're ready to be painted. It's a couple days later, so they've had all the time to dry, and now it's time to shape them with my file and then move on to painting. I'll speed up the process a little bit because this took me a while to get into shape. And at first I actually wanted to get my X-Acto knife and cut in the little kind of diamond shape that you see on top of these bugs, but I realized that I really did not want to mess with this sort of bug shape. You know how all bugs are pretty round? So I kind of just left it this way because I just didn't want to risk anything. Here's me being confused as to why a neon color shows up when the tube is clearly a sort of violet-y purple? I don't know. It was strange. I did end up needing it though. I guess I'll take the time while this footage plays to kind of explain why I love Animal Jam so much. I got into it about 6 months ago when I was really sick, and I was like, I need a game to play, so I installed Webkins, and I talked about it with my friend, and he was like, oh my god, I used to play one of these kid games when I was younger. So we figured out that that was Animal Jam, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna make an account and see what this was all about. And I just ended up loving it straight away. I mean, I love how educational it is, even at my age. And then, I love bugs, and it has so much of that. I loved the touch pull game, where you get all the plushies and stuff when you complete the tasks. It's visually so nice. Here it is with the first coat on. It's gonna need many coats because I'm using like an ultra cheap acrylic and they just tend to be very opaque, so it's gonna need a couple coats. Another thing that goes kind of hand in hand with Animal Jam is Little's Pet Shop, and I've been super obsessed with all these like LPS videos that I've been seeing, because funnily enough, 3 weeks ago I got sick and I couldn't really do much other than consume content on YouTube, so that's what I did, and I stumbled upon LPS. So naturally, I went online and I looked at these lots, and I actually found one for super cheap because, oh my god, I was not aware of the LPS inflation. You should not be buying lots for like $200, $300, euros, wherever you are, because that's insane. I got mine, I think it's about 100 something pets for 70 euros, and I'm just so excited to pick it up and show the unboxing. I'm not sure if the unboxing is going to be the video that comes out before this one, or if this is going to be the first one. And of course, I've been taking my time trying to pick my mascot in advance, but it's incredibly hard because they're all so cute, except for actually many that aren't. I'm super picky with my, you know, collections and stuff. But I think my current two favorites are these two. And I do think that my preference goes out to the frog. And I think it's kind of unique because I have not yet seen an amphibian mascot. They're usually dogs or cats. So how fun is that? I wasn't too satisfied with how purpley the other bug turned out because it's much more pink on the reference picture. So here I'm just adding some normal pink paint to all the colors that I already have made. It's not as noticeable on camera, but it makes a huge difference and I'm much more satisfied with these colors. I would also really like to hear what your favorite thing to do is in Animal Jam. For me, that would obviously be Pillbug game, but I also really like decorating and just going around shops. I think recently I had a glitch where I would log on to the game and I just got like a bunch of these Halloween like currency shards things that you would buy purified orbs with. And apparently people were really like after these, so I kind of just started selling them for sapphires, and I made like a ton of them with this strategy. I don't know if anybody else got this, but you know, it helped out. I could buy a bunch of furniture and stuff, and I've been really enjoying putting my place together. That's the patterns all done, and now it's time to move on to the little eyes. A little more information about what happened with me being scammed, as I said earlier on screen. I basically bought that big lot and I'm like found out that it was missing a bunch of the animals, so I messaged the seller and I was like, hey, some of them aren't included, you know, could happen to anyone, what are you gonna do about it? She was like, okay, I'll send them. I didn't hear anything, so I was like, okay, something's getting a little stinky in here. So, you know, I realized that it was kind of like a scam technique, I guess. And she was like, yeah, sorry, I gave some to my daughter. She just insisted on keeping them, which is like, that's a little weird. So I messaged Vinted, which is where I bought them, and they didn't actually do anything about it. So she ended up actually getting the money, which, you know, it's whatever. I got to keep the majority of them, and I resold the ones that I didn't like from the lot. So in the end, not much to worry about, but I am a little disappointed because the ones that she actually held behind are the ones that I kind of bought the lot for. Like, at least 4 of those 10 that she didn't send were ones that I really wanted. But it's fine. I'll buy another lot sometime. Also, you'll see that with every clip, like sculpting and then painting, I kind of change the angles around a lot. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out, and also I'm recording on my phone with a very cheap tripod, so everything is just kind of moving around and in the way, and it won't focus a lot of the times. I'll try to invest in a camera maybe if this is something that I want to keep doing. But yeah, for now, let me know in which clip the angle was like the most pleasing to your eyes to watch, because then I'll take that into account for the next video. And here they are, all done and painted. And now I'm putting on a little adhesive magnet, which I'm hoping will stay on, and if not, I'll just go back in and add some super glue. But for now, I think it'll hold. And this will also help me with the glazing process, since I can kind of like clasp my pliers around them to have something to hold on to so that my hands don't get covered in all the epoxy and stuff. Now they're having their yummy UV bath, and with this we can move on to the final results. Oons, oons, oons. Oh yeah, they're having a party on the fridge. I'm so happy I finished them, and I'm so happy that you watched this video. Thank you so much. Bye!